Hey guys, Peculiar here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make this super easy sweater vest. It's so easy, it's beginner friendly, and I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. And I'm wishing each and every one of you a very happy new year. Now let's get started. In today's video, I'm going to be using two different colors of yarn. I'm going to be using a pink yarn and I'm going to be using a white yarn. The both of them are both acrylic and they are a weight 4 yarn. This yarn is Burnett Premium, and this is another yarn that I got from the dollar store. Yeah, they're both acrylic and I'm going to be using about 720 yards of yarn. I'm also going to be using a 5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, and I'm also going to be using a tape measure. So to start off, you're going to be using your tape measure and you're going to be using that to measure all around your bust, and you're going to be dividing that by 2. So my bust measurements ended up being 33 inches. So I'm gonna divide it in half and I'm gonna get 16.5 inches. And that's gonna be the length of my front and back panel when I'm starting. So you're gonna make an amount of chains that is equal to half of your bust measurement. So mine is gonna be 16.5. So you're just gonna grab your hook and your yarn and then you make a slip knot and you're gonna make that amount of chains. I'm gonna chain 55 and make sure your stitches is an odd numbers. Make sure the amount of chains you make is an odd number. So I'm gonna chain 55. So I've made my 55 chains and I just want to remind you one last time to make an odd number of chains. So mine is 55, and into the second stitch from the hook we're gonna start making the houndstooth stitch. So that is in the second stitch from the hook. I'm gonna start with a single crochet. So I'm gonna insert a single crochet into that first chain, the second chain, sorry, and then I'm gonna insert a double crochet into the next chain. So I'm gonna go in with a single crochet, then a double crochet, and then I'm just gonna be alternating with single crochets and double crochets all the way till I get to the end of this first row. So I'm just ending this row, and I just wanted to mention to you that if you started with a single crochet, you're gonna end with a double crochet. So you must always end with a double crochet. If not, just know something is wrong. So you're gonna chain 1. Now we're done with row number 1. We'll chain 1 and then turn our work. And then right here, since we're doing the houndstooth stitch, I made the last stitch that I made before I ended was the double crochet. So I'm gonna place a single crochet on top the double crochet. So anywhere I see a double crochet, I'm gonna place a single crochet, and then anywhere I see a single, I'm gonna place a double. So I'm gonna place a single crochet, then a double crochet in the next one, then a single on top of the double crochet, and then a double crochet on top of the single crochet, and then a single on top of the double. And we're just gonna keep alternating that till we get to the end of row number 2. So right here I'm just finishing up row 2, and I just wanted to show you guys that I'm ending with a double crochet. So I'm gonna chain 1, turn my work, and we're gonna move on to row 3, and it's literally the exact same thing as row 2. Just start off with our single crochet, and then double crochet, and then single crochet, and then double crochet, and then single crochet. So yeah, that's literally how we're gonna keep going on till we have a length of 4.5 inches. So this is gonna be where like our under bust is, so it's gonna be 4.5 inches long. You can make it longer or shorter if you wanted, because we're also gonna be adding the white the borders for the sweater vest. So yeah, just make more rows until you're happy with the length, and I'll meet you guys once I'm done. So over here I have 14 rows in total, and this is my 4.5 inches. So right now I'm going to start decreasing. So I'm going to start making that decrease that goes over there, so to make the arms, right? So I finished row 14, and then I'm just going to chain 1 and then turn my work, and right here we're gonna start to decrease. So what we're gonna do is that first stitch, we're gonna skip that first stitch, and we're gonna place the appropriate stitch for that single crochet. So if we see a single crochet, it's supposed to be a double, so we're gonna place a double crochet into that single crochet. So we skip the first stitch, and into the next stitch you place a double crochet. So that's our first decrease, and then we just continue the pattern as usual. So right here is a double crochet, so I'm gonna place a single crochet, and then a double crochet, then a single crochet, then a double, then a single, and then I'm gonna keep going all the way till I only have 2 stitches left on my hook, and then I'll meet you guys. So over here I only have 2 stitches left on my work for this row, and I'm just gonna place my yarn, and then I'm going to make a decrease. So I'm going to insert my hook into that next stitch, so into that double crochet I'm gonna place my hook, and then I'm gonna yarn over and then pull through, and then I'm gonna place my hook into the next stitch, and then yarn over and pull through, and then I'm gonna yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then I'm gonna yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that is the decrease. So I'm gonna chain 1 and then turn my work. So we've done 15 rows. Now we're moving on to row 16, and then we're gonna make a decrease. So we're gonna be making decreases on both sides. So anytime we're beginning and ending a row, we're gonna make a decrease. So we've done the first row of decrease. Now it's the second row, which is row 16. So I'm going to skip that first stitch, and then right here we have a double crochet, so I'm going to place a single crochet. So when starting, you skip the first stitch, so I'm going to skip that stitch, and whichever stitch you have next, you're going to just place the appropriate stitch on top. So I'm going to place my single crochet because I have a double crochet in that next stitch, so single crochet. We've done our decrease, and then I'm going to move on with the regular pattern, which is a double crochet next, then a single crochet, then a double crochet, and then I'm just going to keep moving on until I have 2 stitches left on my work, and then I'm gonna make my decrease. So I am almost done with row 16, and I only have 2 more loops or 2 more stitches left, and I'm going to make my decrease. So I'm gonna insert my hook, yarn over, pull through. I have 2 loops on my hook, and then insert into that last stitch, yarn over, pull through. I have 3 loops on my hook, and then I'm gonna yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And now we've made a decrease. So now we've made 2 rows of decreases, and I'm gonna chain 1 and turn. And I'm gonna start with row 17, and I'm just gonna skip that first stitch, and then right here we have a single crochet, so I'm gonna make a double crochet on top of that. So we skip to make the decrease, and then we place double crochets because I have a single crochet under, and then I place a single crochet, then a double, then a single, then a double, and just gonna keep going all the way until I only have 2 stitches left. So right now I'm almost done with row 17, and I just have to make my decrease. So one last time I'm gonna show you guys how I make decreases. So you're just gonna insert your hook, then yarn over and then pull through, and then insert into that last stitch, yarn over and pull through, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. So right here, I'm not really sure how far I'm gonna be making the decreases, but I'm gonna be making them for I think maybe 2 or 3 rows. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna put it on the screen for you guys so you guys can see and follow along. But yeah, I'm gonna go off camera and I'm gonna figure out the decreasing, and then I'm gonna come back when I'm done, and I'm gonna tell you guys how many rows I did. Okay, so right now I'm done with my decrease, and I made 6 rows of decrease. So I made 14 regular rows and then 6 rows of decreasing, so which is 20 rows in total. And as you can see, I also marked the middle of my work because we're about to start making the neckline. So just go ahead and figure out the middle of your top, and then we're gonna start making the neckline. So over here I'm gonna chain 1, and then I'm gonna turn my work, and we have a double crochet right here. So we're gonna place a single crochet, and then a double, and then a single, and then a double, and I'm gonna be doing this all the way till I reach my stitch marker. So right now I only have two loops remaining, and I am going to make a decrease. So in the middle of my stitch I'm going to make a decrease, and then what I'm going to be doing is just inserting my hook, yarning over, pulling through, and then inserting into that middle stitch, and then yarning over and pulling through, and then I'm just making that yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. So you chain 1 and then turn, and you make another decrease. So over here, insert, yarn over, pull through, and then insert, and then yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. So over here we have a single crochet, so we're gonna insert that single crochet, and then the double, and then the single, and then the double. And we're gonna be doing this all the way till we get to the last stitch. And we're not going to be making any increases on this side, just the middle side of the top. So we're at the end and we're not going to make any decrease, so we're just going to keep going on with the pattern. So I'm going to chain one and then turn my work, and then no decreases, just keep going on. The only part where we're going to make a decrease is the middle part of the top. So just gonna keep going with the pattern. So I only have 2 stitches left, and over here we're gonna make a decrease. So make a decrease, and then I'm gonna chain one and then turn my work, and then I'll make another decrease, and then I'm just gonna keep going on with the pattern. And this is how the pattern is gonna keep going. So as you can see, this part is straight, so it's gonna be like straight up, and then this part is gonna slant because we're making the decrease. So I'm gonna keep making more rows until I'm done, and I'll meet you guys and I'll explain to you guys how many rows that I did. Okay, so right now I have done 14 rows of decreases from the middle. This is what the top is looking like right now. So in total I have done 34 rows because we did 14 rows of regular stitches, and then we did a decrease here which was 6 rows, so that's 20, plus we did an additional 14 rows over here from here to here, which is 14, so that should add up to 34. I think 34 rows, yeah. So right now we're just gonna make 4 rows of regular stitches, no decrease, no increase, just regular. So we'll chain one, turn, and then we'll just make regular stitches for this row. So instead of making a decrease, we'll just keep going with the regular stitches. So over here you want to chain one and then turn, and then just keep going on with your regular stitches. So we've made 1 row of no increase. Now we're on the 2nd row. And I'm just gonna make 4 rows in total of no increase or decrease. Okay, now I made those 4 rows of regular stitches, and as you can see, it's way different from this part, so you can differentiate which part is decrease and which part is like actual regular rows. Okay, so we're done with one part of the one part of the decrease, so one part of like the bust area, and then I'm just gonna go on and continue the second part, and it's the exact same thing you're just gonna do for this side. So what we did for here is the exact same thing we're gonna do for here. We're not decreasing here, so here is gonna be a straight line, and then here is gonna be decrease all the way, and then we're gonna do those extra 4 rows. So I'm gonna go off camera and finish that, and I'm going to meet you guys when I'm done. So you just reattach your yarn over here, and then you continue making decreases. Okay, so I'm basically done with the front panel, but I just wanted to explain everything that I did one last time. So I made 14 rows, regular stitches all the way like this, and then from here I started to decrease. So I decreased on both sides, and from here I started to make the decrease on the insides instead, and on the outside I just went on with my regular stitches. So for this side, I said I was gonna make 4 rows, but I ended up making 8 rows for this side from here. So I stopped decreasing and I started to create this straight row over here. So it was 4 rows, it was 8 rows, sorry, not 4 rows. And I'm gonna put the measurements to everything, like all the inches and everything, so you don't get confused. And yeah, this is basically the front panel, and now I want to show you guys how to make the back panel. Okay, so like I said, done with the front panel. Now it's time to start the back panel, and the back panel is basically the exact same thing that we're doing. So you just create the half chains of your bust size. So like for mine it was 33 inches, and then half of it is 16.5. So I just made the amount of chains that equal to 16.5, and mine was 55. Make sure it's an odd number that you're chaining, and mine was 55. And yeah, just gonna do the exact same thing from row number 1 to row number 14, and then from here we're gonna make the exact amount of decreases. So from here we're gonna make a decrease all the way, so that's gonna be 6 rows of decrease. So I'm gonna go off camera and do my decrease, and then we'll go on from there. So for my back panels, I made my 6 rows of decrease. So I just repeated everything from row 1 to row 20. So I just repeated everything from row 1 to row 20 for my back panel. And the only thing we have to do next for the back panel is to make the remaining rows that go all the way up. So that's super easy. What you just have to do is from where you stopped, you're going to chain 1, and then you're just going to keep making rows. So you're gonna make the edges straight, so you're just gonna be going from row to row. So over here we stopped with a double crochet, so we're gonna go in with a single, then a double, then a single, then a double, then a single, and then we're just gonna go on till we reach the end, and we're not making any increases or decreases. We're just going in a straight line or a straight row. So I just wanted to show you guys that I'm not making any decreases, and I'm just continuing my row as I would normally do it. So no decrease, just making a regular row. So chain 1, turn, and then go with a regular row. So I'm going to be doing this for 24 rows because that's how much I need after the first decrease. So from here it's 24 rows upwards till I get to this point, and I'm just gonna keep going all the way until I get to the top of my top for the back panel. Okay, so guys, after making 20 rows from so 14 rows plus 6 rows, so after doing my 20 rows, I made an extra 20 rows from the decrease upwards. So right now I just have to make like straps. So I'm going to count seven stitches, because on my front panel the straps are 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I want them to align with each other. So I'm going to count 7, and then I'm just going to make 7 stitches all along. So I made my first row for the 7 stitches. Now I'm just gonna chain 1 and then turn my work, and then I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm going to make 4 rows of the 7 stitches. So I made 4 rows. Now on the other side, I'm gonna make 4 rows. So you're gonna count 7 stitches, reattach the yarn, and then make 4 rows going up. So guys, I'm done with the back panel and I made my 4 rows on both sides. And when I realign my front panel and my back panel, they both match up together, so they're both the same length, the same height, and the same width and size, so everything matches up together. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and then sew the straps together and sew the other straps together, and make sure that when you're sewing, the good side is on the inside. So my good side is on the inside and then the bad side is on the outside, so when you turn it inside out, it is all neat and clean. So I'm gonna start sewing my straps now, and then I'll move on to the body portion. So right now I've sewn everything together, and I've turned it inside out so you can't see the bad parts. So right now we're gonna introduce the white yarn and we're going to start making the ribbing portion. So you're gonna attach the yarn onto any stitch. So right now I just have my crochet hook and my yarn, and I'm just going to attach the white yarn onto any stitch on the bottom portion. And once I attach, I'm just going to chain 2, and then from there into every single stitch I'm going to include a double crochet. So in that chain 2 stitch, I'm also going to include my first double crochet, and then into every single stitch all around I'm going to place a double crochet. So right now I have made double crochets all over the bottom portion. So I made my first row, and now I'm just going to make a slip stitch into that chain 2, and then from there I'm going to chain 2 to start my second row, and I'm going to place a double crochet into that first stitch. And then I'm going to make a front post double crochet. So I'm going to make a front post double crochet, then a back post double crochet, then a front post and a back post, and I'm just going to alternate all through till I reach the starting point. So right now, as you can see, I've finished my second row of ribbing, which was the first front post, back post, double crochet, and I'm just finishing up by placing my double crochet and then slip stitching into that second chain to join that row. So I'm going to chain 2 to start a new row, always chain 2 to start a new row, and then I'm going to place my double crochet on that double crochet stitch, and I'm going to make my front post. So wherever you see a front post, you're going to make a front post double crochet, and then wherever you see a back post, you're going to make a back post double crochet. And you're going to do this just to keep the consistency of the ribbing stitch. So I'm going to do this for 4 rows. So I made 4 rows of ribbing and 4 rows of front post, back post double crochet, and you're going to do this all around till you're happy with the size or the width or length of the front post and back post double crochet. You could add more stitches or more rows, or you could do less rows if you wanted, but it's all up to you. But I did 4 rows of front post and back post double crochet. So I made 4 rows of front post, back post double crochet, and I also started doing the one of the arms. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how I did the other arm. So you're gonna get your yarn and your hook, and then you're just going to attach the yarn on any side of the arms. And then you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to place a double crochet in that space. And then you're just going to be placing a double crochet around, like we did in the bottom borders. So like we did here, you're just going to do the exact same thing here. So you're just going to go around and make double crochets. So I made my first round of double crochet, and then I'm just gonna complete it all around. So you're just gonna slip stitch into that, chain 2, then chain 2, and then place a double crochet into that first double crochet stitch, and then you're going to place a front post double crochet, then a back post, then a front post, then a back post, then a front post, and you're gonna do that all the way till you reach the chain 2 stitch. So you're gonna do that all around the arms till you reach the chain 2 stitch. So for the neckline, I reattached my yarn over here, and I just chain 2 and kept double crocheting all throughout. And then once we get to the middle stitch, I only have 2 stitches left, so I'm going to make a decrease. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull through, and then insert my hook into that middle stitch, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. And now we've made a decrease, and we're just going to keep double crocheting into every single space that we find. So you're going to do that all the way until you get here. So right now I'm at the beginning of the back side, and from here we're just going to skip that first stitch and insert the double crochet into the next one, and then we're just going to keep double crocheting into every single stitch till we get here, and then we're going to skip this stitch, and then we're just going to slip stitch into here. So we're going to skip that stitch, and then we're just going to slip stitch into that chain 2, and then we're going to make 2 chains, so chain 2, and then place your double crochet stitch, and then make front post double crochet, then back post double crochet, then front post, then back post, and you're gonna do this for every single stitch all around for this row. Okay, so I'm almost done with my neckline. I'm just doing my last stitch, so my last double crochet, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 2. So after slip stitching, I'm just going to chain 2, and then I'm going to cut off my work. So right now I have so many loose ends that I have to fix. So I'm just going to do that. So in loose ends, do everything that I need to do, and then I'll show you guys the finished product.